Hey guys, we are doing my absolute favorite makeup. So this isn't just a best of 2021, but this is like my all-time ride or die favorite luxury makeup. And we're gonna do just one in every category. This was very difficult, but this is also gonna be a very long video. So let's go ahead and get started. What I do in my favorites is I've applied as many of these products to my face as possible. And so we'll have some cutaways to that footage of me applying it. Another thing I wanted to mention was I did this last year, and there were definitely a lot of repeats, but I wanted to do it again because I have a lot of new subscribers. Maybe you missed that one last year, and there are some updates, some changes, some new things in here. Now, let's go ahead and get started with primer. So my all-time favorite primer is the Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer. I have used both the original and the golden. It's like a skincare product. It is like an extra moisturizer. It is a very light moisturizer. I have very dry skin, so that extra layer of moisturization is always very, very welcome. But in terms of like a makeup primer, it smooths my skin. It really gets my skin ready for makeup application. And what I really love about this particular primer is that it has just a little bit of shimmer to it. So the original has a little bit of a light golden shimmer to it. And this golden one that I use today, which is actually all I have left, I used up the original and now I'm using the golden. It has a little bit of a golden sheen to it, but it's really just this like bronzy goodness that you see. So when I want just a little bit, it's not like it's gonna make me look like I just have a fresh bit of self-tan on. It's just gonna give me a little extra something, and it's really, really great, especially during these winter months when I'm feeling a little pale. So that is my primer pick, and this, I believe, is the pick that I had for last year. So I just continuously love this primer. And for foundation, this again is probably the second, third year running that this is my all-time favorite foundation. So this is no surprise if you guys have been with me for any length of time. But this is the Surratt Dewdrop Foundation. I go between the shades 3 and 4. 3 is like my fall winter shade. 4 is definitely my summery shade. And I have 4 on today because I did use this golden primer and I thought this is probably a better match. And it's just a lovely, like perfect for me foundation. Like I've always said, if I were to have created a foundation, it would be just like the Dewdrop Foundation. It has a really lovely kind of light texture. It has a light medium coverage, and it has a wonderful, wonderful glow. It's not too in your face of a glow. It's not a forced kind of glow where it's just all these like shimmers and sparkles. It just is like a blurring, smoothing kind of glow. And it's not something that makes you look greasy either. It just, oh my God, it's just so, so beautiful. There's something in this foundation that I think refracts light in a way that makes it look blurred and makes it look glowy without any of that kind of typical shimmer shine. It's really a fantastic foundation. And I have dry skin, it works for me. I have very good friends that have oily skin and it works for them as well. So I feel like this is a really wonderful universal foundation, and this continues to be my absolute favorite. Okay, next up we have concealer. And this has been a long time favorite of mine. Ever since it was actually released, I've been talking about this. So this is the Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer in the shade 2N. I have it on today. I have it underneath my eyes. I have it around my nose and a little bit on my chin. And I love the shade of this. It works really well for me, but I love the formula. The texture of this concealer is great. I don't think many concealers work well both underneath your eyes and on your face. I find that different textures work better in those two different areas, but this concealer works wonderfully in both areas, under the eyes and on my face, and I just love it. I love it. I've been going so hard with this for so long. It's really been difficult to find a concealer that matches up to this. I have a few other favorites, but this one is really the standout. All right, in terms of powder, I have a pressed powder and a loose powder pick. So my pressed powder pick is the Chantecaille Perfect Blur Finishing Powder. I have the limited edition Hummingbird package, but this is now part of their regular line, and so I wanted to mention it, and it does come in 2 shades now. So I have the lighter of the 2, and then there's one that's like, can't remember the name. I think it's like medium deep, and mine's like maybe light medium. Anyway, this is a baked gelée type of powder, and so you definitely need like a denser brush to pick it up, but when you press it over areas that you need a little bit of blurring, and for me that is right over here where I have some larger pores, and you just kind of press it in, it just like does this beautiful, like blurred, filtered effect, almost like you've put like a photo filter over your face where you need it. This is not a powder that I feel comfortable putting all over my face because there is like a certain kind of thickness to it, and I don't want that all over my face, but I do like this over the specific areas where I need a little bit of blurring. Like I said, right over here, sometimes I'll put it kind of like on either side of my mouth, sometimes I'll put it right here. It just works beautifully. So this is my absolute favorite pressed powder. And as for loose powder, this is what I have on today. And this is, again, no stranger to my channel, the Kogen Do Natural Lighting Powder. I love this powder. I'm actually surprised, well, it's getting down there, but I'm actually surprised that I'm not done with this powder just yet. I have it lightly dusted all over, and this is such a gorgeous, gorgeous powder because it sets down your makeup beautifully. It lasts all day. I don't feel like there's a lot of like oil breakthrough when I use this powder. It mattifies my foundation, but not too much. So if I'm very, very shiny, yes, it definitely kind of brings the shine down, but this powder itself has such a light, subtle kind of pearlescent glow. And when I say subtle, I can't emphasize that enough. It's not like this is even remotely like even a subtle highlight. This is just a very, very subtle, soft kind of pearly sheen of powder. So it's not a dry, mattifying powder where you just start to look really, really dry. It just has the most beautiful, ever so slightly tiny bit, how can I emphasize this? Just the tiniest bit of like a pearly sheen. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So that is the Kogen Do Natural Lighting Powder. And then for contour, I actually don't remember what I mentioned last year, if I even mentioned a contour. I think maybe I did. Anyway, my contour pick for absolute favorite, and this is one that's like come into my life, gone out of my life, come back into my life, gone out of my life, because this has been around for a really long time, and I will go really hard with it and then I'll forget about it, and then I'll go really hard with it and then I'll forget about it. Anyway, it's back in my life, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. The bronze side is an amazing, amazing, at least for my skin tone, contour shade. It is cooler in tone, but not super cool. It's not super, super gray, which I get why contours should be shadow-like and gray, but I feel like when it's too gray, it looks a little, I don't know, it just doesn't look quite right. I think it looks great in photographs, but in real life, it looks a little bit too stark. So for me, this one, it finds that middle ground between being a bronzer and being a contour. Like it's on the cooler side, but it's not too cool. So that is the Sculpt Bronze Powder in this Film Star Duo. And that is what I have on my face today. So I just have it brushed underneath my cheekbones and just up around my temples, just very lightly, because I wanted to use my favorite bronzer. And this has been, I think, my favorite bronzer for a few years running as well. This is the Tom Ford Glow Bronzer in Terra. This is another product I'm surprised I haven't hit pan on. I'm getting a little bit of a dip, but anyway, that is my favorite bronzer, and this is what I have lightly dusted kind of all over forehead, down my nose, over my cheeks and stuff. I used it to blend out my contour a little bit, but I love, love, love this shade. I feel like it's very neutral, if you will. It's not too warm. I don't like a bronzer that's too orangey. I prefer them a little bit more on the neutral side with maybe a hint of a red undertone, which I feel like this one has just a hint of a red undertone. But this powder bronzer, it just behaves like a cream. It is so, so fine. When you brush it over your skin, it just melts. It's like the new Tom Ford blush duos that I love. And so it's the formula that I think I really love, because there's a ton of bronzers out there with a lot of a similar kind of like tone to it, but it's the formula that really makes this one so different and stands out for me, because you brush it on and it melts onto your skin. It just becomes so seamless and diffused, and it looks so, so beautiful. But because this is a very fine, fine powder, you want to be fairly gentle with it, because your brush will pick up a lot of product without a lot of force. So that is the Tom Ford Glow Bronzer in Terra. And in terms of a cream product that I can use for either contour or bronzer is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Cream Duo in Intensity 0.5. So this is the lightest that they have, and this cream bronzer, you can probably tell it's very, very neutral. It's probably, you know, if you were to pick, maybe a little bit on the cooler side, but this just looks really, really beautiful on the skin. Let me do a quick swatch here. Even though there's a coolness to it, hopefully you can see it through the camera here, but there's also a little bit of peachiness. And I feel like that is what makes this particular product for me, you know, you can use it for contour or bronzer. So I love, love, love this formula too. It just blends out like a dream. It doesn't blend out to nothing, but it blends out so the edges look really diffused. Beautiful formula. So that's the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate. Cream pick of mine, absolute favorite. Let's move over to blush. So let's talk about the blush that I have on. This is a fairly new blush to me. Did I get this over this past year? Possibly, but it's the blush that I just keep reaching for and I just adore now. This is the Dior Rouge Blush in 459 Charnel. I have this lightly dusted all over my cheeks here, and I just think it is like a neutral, slightly peachy, warm leaning blush, and oh, it's just beautiful. Like for the longest time, NARS Madly was my go-to. I love that blush. I still love that blush, but I believe they discontinued it. I can't find it on the NARS site. It's like disappearing very quickly from like Sephora, Nordstrom, other NARS retailers. I love the Laura Mercier Fresco. That one has a lot more of like a sheen to it, and it has micro glitters, which I don't think show up on the cheeks too much, but it is there. This one has just a beautiful, subtle satin sheen, and I feel like this is just a little bit more universal, because if I don't want something quite as shimmery as the Laura Mercier, this has been the answer. So this is my absolute favorite blush, and this formula from Dior, it's just a pressed powder, you know, it's nothing too fancy, it's nothing terribly unique or special, but I kind of love that about this blush. You don't have to worry about what brush you're gonna use. Any brush I've used picks up the product perfectly. It blends the product out beautifully. I just love it. It's just really easy, really beautiful blush. And the level of pigmentation is right. Like when it comes to a blush, you obviously don't want it too light that it's not gonna show up, but you don't want it too bold where you enter like clown cheek territory. So this one has just a really nice level of pigmentation. And in terms of cream blush, I've been loving the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks blush sticks. And I just pulled out these two shades, Pop It, which I will swatch for you now. This is a really beautiful hot pink shade. Oh my gosh, in the viewfinder, it looks neon. It's so pretty. If you just kind of dab it lightly on your, like on the apples of your cheeks, oh, they give you this like doll cheek appearance. It's kind of cool toned. It'll look like cotton candy on your cheeks. So that is Pop It. And then the other one that I really love is Minette. And this is a lighter, peachier shade, but there is a beautiful, beautiful shimmer to it. And I just love the finish of Minette. It's so gorgeous and it's just perfect for the springtime. So these baby cheek blush sticks, the formula is wonderful. I love that they're in a stick because you can kind of just swipe them on your cheeks. Of course, you can use your finger and kind of dab it on if you like, but I like the ease of the stick. I just find them, I don't know, easy to use. The formula is great. These blend out so, so beautifully. The longevity is there. I know with cream blush, sometimes you wonder after an hour or so, like, did I even put blush on? There's no question with these. These definitely have a really nice longevity. And I love them. I think there's 6 shades in total now, 5 or 6, I think maybe 6. And I love them all. I think I have them all. I love them all. The range is really, really beautiful. Yeah, so anyway, that is the Baby Cheeks blush stick, my absolute favorite cream blush. Let's move on to highlighter. So this has been a favorite powder highlight of mine for a very long time. It is what I have on my cheeks today. And this is the Burberry Fresh Glow highlighter. And I'm holding up number 2, Rose Gold. I also have this is number 4, Rose Gold. I have Nude Gold, which I think is number 2. So this one is the one that I reached for a bit more than that one. And I was really afraid that this was getting discontinued for a while. I know Sephora doesn't carry Burberry anymore, and Burberry seemed to stop coming out with new releases for a while. And I thought, oh my gosh, is this line going away? I'll be so upset. But they seem to be, I think they just hired a new creative director and they seem to be reviving the line a little bit more. I'm starting to see more like Burberry beauty ads on Instagram, which is always a good sign. So I did want to keep this one in my list because I am trying, not to mention like limited edition products or products that are really hard to find or being discontinued or whatever. This one I think is safe from all of that, but it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous highlight. This is one of the first-ish Baked Gelée products that I ever experienced, and this won me over. Look at that. It is so smooth and shiny. It's one of those beautiful highlights that I feel like really shiny, but because it's so smooth, it doesn't emphasize texture as much as other highlighters that are this shiny. Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, again, that is what I have on my cheeks today. Oh, it's so, so beautiful. So that is my all-time favorite powder highlight. And in terms of cream highlight, you heard me mention this in my best of 2021. This is the Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick in Nectar. It's just gorgeous, much like her cheek sticks, her blush sticks. The formula is really, really great. I find them to be emollient, but not too greasy. They're not sticky. Yeah, they just sit on my cheeks really, really nicely. They don't completely set down, but I don't feel like they're sticky at all. And the glow on this is so gorgeous. It's a little bit more subtle than the Burberry. So I have it swatched across here. God, it's really hard to see. It's a little bit more subtle than the Burberry, which has a lot more shine to it. This I feel like is a nice balance between actual shine in the formula, in the color, and the actual creaminess of the stick is what you'll see as well. So it's just gorgeous. It's just one of those really pretty, natural kind of highlights. I don't feel self-conscious when I wear this, or I don't feel like I run the danger of putting too much highlight on. I really like tapping it on my cheekbones, down my nose, a little bit on my forehead. Like I feel like I can be really generous with this highlight and it'll never look too overdone. So that is the Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick in Nectar. Okay, next up for eyebrows. Now, you guys know, I want to say the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, but I don't know what they're doing with this. Rumor has it that they are reformulating this. It will break my heart if they reformulate this and ruin it because I love this so, so much. So this, if they continue to get it right with this product, this is my absolute favorite eyebrow product, as you guys know. But in the interim, while they reformulate and distribute, because currently this is like completely sold out everywhere, I have been loving the Persona Swipe Up Brow Gel. I have it in the shade Charcoal. It is what I have in my brows today. And it's just a really easy brow gel. It's tinted. It's not tinted too much. The texture of the brow gel is really, really nice. It's not too loose and wet, but it's not too dry where it looks kind of chunky. It's just perfect. It's just really, really easy. The only thing I think this one is missing is the little fibers. So it doesn't beef up your eyebrows quite as much as the Tom Ford. But if you just want a little bit of tint and you just want to, I don't know, make your brow stand out a little bit more, this is great. It's like a great everyday kind of brow gel. So at the moment, this one is my absolute favorite product for brows, but it may be overtaken by the reformulated version of this, if that rumor is true. So we'll have to revisit this next year in 2022. Okay, for eyeshadows, I think I mentioned this in last year's eyeshadow palette. So I'm gonna talk about a large eyeshadow palette, a small eyeshadow palette, and then a single cream shadow. Okay, so the large eyeshadow palette pick is the Natasha Denona 28 Green Brown palette. I don't know, I felt like I was starting to see this kind of slowly disappear, and I thought, ooh, is she discontinuing these 28 pan palettes? But I see them now. I think I just saw it on Sephora. Anyway, I thought I would mention it because I love, love, love this palette. Love it so much. I used to be really intimidated by the amount of shadows in here. I would open it up and not know where to start. But ever since I just dove right in, I feel like now I can see where I want to go. You know, the 3 center columns are green. We have some lighter, cooler toned neutrals here, and then we have some warmer, deeper ones over here. So it's actually laid out really nicely if you just kind of focus in small areas of the palette. If you look at the whole thing at once, it can be very intimidating, a little confusing, and that's generally why I like smaller palettes. But this one is so incredible. So I have this shade on, and I have that, you know, basically over my lid, and then the deeper one on the outer corner. And then what I did was I took and then I used this shade over here and I tapped that all over the center of my lid. It's almost like this, like gray toned lemony lime shade. It's so, so cool. So yeah, I have that tapped all over the center of my lid, and then I kind of blended it out so that it wasn't, I don't know, like this strip of eyeshadow. So I blended that out a little bit, and that's what I have on my eyes. I love the shades in here. I love the Natasha Denona formula. As you guys know, I'm a big, big fan of her eyeshadows, and this palette is so great. I mean, I love the 2 outer columns, right? I live there all the time. Just neutrals, easy to wear, a few mattes, a few satins, a few shimmers, great. And when I like to add a little bit of color, I do really, really like green. Green is probably my favorite, like non-neutral color. So this is just perfect for me. So that is my absolute favorite large eyeshadow palette. My favorite small eyeshadow palette. I can't remember what I mentioned last year, but it is the Dior Soft Cashmere. And I've been talking about Dior a lot because I really feel like this past year has been amazing, absolutely amazing. And a lot of the palettes that I've been using from Dior have been limited edition. Like their holiday collection, I've been loving those. The two, like the Atelier Doré and the House of Dreams, I've been loving those, but they're limited edition. The Birds of a Feather, those are limited edition. And I loved the Cruise 22, the Cruise 22 Quint. I love that as well, but that is limited edition. I think you can't even get that anymore. So this one is my favorite from their core collection. And when they redid their whole line and everything, I think this was 2 years ago at this point, I was so enamored with this Quint, and I still am. This shade up here, yes. Just yes. It is like a liquid metal. Isn't that just incredible? Absolutely love it. This light shade up here, it's a very, very light pink. It's like this gauzy kind of wash of color. I don't even know if you can see it. It's so incredible. It looks like the eyeshadow version of like paillettes. It is so incredible. And then we have some more basic shades down here, which are just gorgeous. Like this one, look at that. Look at that beautiful minky taupey color. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's that shade. Oh, I mean, look at those three right there. Oh, so I just love, love, love this Quint. And it was tough. It was tough picking out. As you guys know, I have a lot of small palettes. So it was very tough going through all of my smaller palettes and trying to figure out like which is the one that I would grab for if I could only pick one. And this was it. And the single eyeshadow I wanted to mention also happens to be my favorite like cream shadow, and that's the Westman Atelier iPod in Tabac. And I thought I would go ahead and mention it this year because you can now buy these single. So when she first released these, they were in a set of 3, and you can still get them in a set of 3, the iPods. But now she has pulled out, I think, 2 or 3 shades that you can buy individually, and this is one of them. I was so excited because, as you can tell, I love this one so much, and I'm definitely going to be using this one up much more quickly than the other 2 that were part of this set. So this is one of my favorite one and done shadows. It's so beautiful. It's like this taupey color with a beautiful peachy undertone to it. I think there you can kind of see the taupiness, and there you can see like the peach. And then look at that soft shimmer to it. It's just beautiful. And this texture of the cream shadow, I just really love. It's easy to use because it's a putty. It's not too creamy and oily and moussey. It's just, yeah, you can just go in there and build it up and build it up. You can use a brush, you can use your finger. It's just wonderful. So I love the formula, I love the color, and I just, look at this packaging. The packaging is great too. So that is my favorite cream shadow, my favorite single shadow of the moment. My all-time favorite eyeliner is the Wang Essential Eye Kohl Pencil. And I was debating between this and the Dior 24-Hour Stilos that I've been loving. But I just like kohl pencils a little bit more than gel liners. Gel liners, I find them, I don't know, just sometimes they tug a little bit, sometimes like they become a little bit piecey, or it's just, I don't know, it's a little extra work sometimes, I feel like, to get the liner to actually like lay down. Where a kohl pencil, it just whoosh, like so soft, so smooth, and you can actually like smudge them out really easily, and then they do eventually set down. So I have this basically underneath my lower lash line, I have it tight lined, I have it over my eyelashes, no smudging. These just don't smudge for me. And I love the whole range of colors in this line. My favorite still, I've talked about this a lot, is Precious Opal. This is like a metallic brown. It's just really, really, I think, complimentary. I think brown is just a really nice everyday eyeliner look. Sometimes I feel like black is a little bit too bold, a little bit too stark, so I always reach for Precious Opal, and I just love this formula so much. And then in terms of mascara, another Wang product. So last year, I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Surratt Noir lash tint, which I still really, really love. But the Wang is, you know, it's just as nice as the Surratt. It does have a more typical wand where there's bristles on there. There are no bristles on the Surratt Noir lash tint. It is just a stick with threading at the end. I've been reaching for the Wang more, and I really, really like what it does to my lashes. Maybe that's it. I think with the Noir lash tint, it was very separating, it was very lengthening, which I love. That's definitely more my preference. But the Wayne Goss mascara, I feel like did that, but also added a little bit more volume too, which I can always use. I have very, very wimpy lashes, but both mascaras really hold my curl very, very well. Yeah, I feel like if I had to grab one mascara, this would be it. This is my absolute favorite one. The Wayne Goss Waterproof Mascara in black. Okay, in terms of lip liner, this has been my all-time favorite for a very long time. It is the Sisley Perfect Lip Liner. I have Beige Naturel on my lips today, and it's the formula of these Sisley lip liners that I have been talking about for so long because they go on with zero tugging, super soft, very, very pigmented, and then they set down, they don't budge, but there's no dryness whatsoever. Like, they are a miracle in lip pencil form, and I love the shades that they have. So I have this Beige Naturel, I have Nude, I have Chocolat, which is like a deeper brown, just a gorgeous, gorgeous like array of shades, neutrals especially. So that is my absolute favorite lip liner. I've talked about it a lot, so I'm gonna move on. Okay, and as for my favorite lipstick, you guys, this is new. So last year I talked about the Bond No. 9 lipsticks, which I still love because the formula is really incredible. They go on and then after like 30 seconds, it doesn't feel like you have lipstick on, but it's still there. They just melt onto your lips and like become one with your skin. Incredible. But I have to say, I think, yeah, my absolute all-time favorite lipstick now are the Armani Lip Powers. I've been talking about these non-stop ever since these came out. So what I love about the Armani Lip Powers is the formula, the form factor, the shade range that they have, everything about them just absolutely perfect. I love the formula because they go on and you can even see there's like a little bit of shine. I don't have gloss on top. They have a little bit of shine to them. So they go on, they feel like they behave like a cream lipstick, but they have like a lasting power to them. Nothing like a liquid lipstick or like a super matte stay all day kind of lipstick. Not like that, but definitely a lot more than a typical cream lipstick. It's actually surprising. And if you guys have tried these, let us know down below in the comment section how they've worn for you because I was surprised. You know, with how creamy they feel, I thought after one meal be completely gone. But I had quite a bit of lipstick left. I was really surprised. Oh, and the form factor. This teardrop shape, all lipsticks should be shaped like this. It makes it so easy to apply, especially deeper colors like this 405 Sultan. It's just so easy to apply and yeah, it just fits perfectly. I'm like, why aren't all lipsticks shaped like this? It makes so much more sense. And in terms of lip gloss, you guys know what lip gloss I'm gonna talk about because this has been my favorite for years and years and years. This is the Chanel Rouge Cocoa Gloss. Is that the full name? Rouge Cocoa Gloss in 804. I think I've turned many of you onto this lip gloss. If I put something like this Beige Naturel lip liner on and just kind of contour my lips a little bit, fill them in just a little bit, and then put this on top, I'm telling you, I get at least, if I go out in public and I don't have a mask on, I get at least one person asking me where I've gotten my lips done or what do I have on my lips or, you know, if it's someone I know, they're like, did you get filler? I mean, just like the most insane compliments every time I wear this lip gloss. In fact, I'm gonna remove what I have on and show you because I don't feel like just talking about it is enough. Okay, lipstick has been removed. I'm gonna go ahead and apply some of this Beige Naturel. Okay, there I am with just lip liner. And now I'm gonna apply some of the 804. Okay, there it is. And there's something about this lip gloss that just makes my lips look so pouty. I think it's the subtle shine that they have. As you guys know, I don't like a really, really high, super high shine lip gloss. I always feel like they make me look like I'm drooling, but I love this kind of like satin kind of glow to my lip gloss. I'm telling you guys, if you get this lip gloss and you put it over some lip liner, people are gonna think you got filler, no lie. So that is my all-time favorite lip gloss and long-standing too, for at least like 3 or 4 years now. How long have I been talking about this lip gloss? Okay, let's move on to the last category, finishing powder. So this is another long-standing favorite, the Guerlain Meteorites. This is my favorite finishing powder, and I have it buffed all over my skin. It's hard for me to tilt my head far enough back, but you'll see this beautiful It's like a marbleized shine on your face. And I have equated, you know, using my Sonia G buffer brush. It's the Face One brush originally, and then she came out with it with the different handle and a different name, and I can't remember what it is, but it's the flat top kabuki style brush. I dip it into the Guerlain Meteorites and I just buff it in. So I've equated it to like one of those floor shining Zambonis in like commercial buildings that have like those big marble floors. There's tons of them in New York City. They have these Zambonis running at night and you see them just like polishing up the floor. That's what I feel like this does for your skin with the meteorites. It just polishes up your skin and it leaves the most flawless, smooth, satiny kind of finish. And there are micro glitters in the meteorites, but I feel like if you buff enough, those micro glitters kind of go away and you're just left with a really smooth, do you see that? Just like a really smooth shine. You know, I have a ton of these meteorites because they come out with limited edition ones during the holidays, for the spring, summer, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the one that I use the most is medium, which is part of their regular line. And I kind of focus it just on my cheeks. I do a little bit on my forehead, but I don't really do it to my eyes. I don't want that much shininess around my eyes. So I just kind of buff, you know, like right here and like the center of my forehead, and that's it. But this is by far my favorite finishing powder. There are other ones out there that are really lovely, but I always go back to these. Absolute favorite. All right, that is it for my absolute favorite luxury makeup. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what some of your absolute favorites are. If there's any out there that I have not tried yet, I'm gonna run out and try them. So let me know down below in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Mishmas. I will have another video up for you tomorrow, but we're getting close to the end and I'm starting to get sad. Of course, isn't that ironic? At the beginning, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna slowly kill me, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I hope you guys are too. But I'll see you in tomorrow's video.